Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode here in NHL 23. So in last episode, we took on the Colorado Avalanche in the second round of the playoffs, and unfortunately we lost, but still it was a pretty good learning experience for the guys getting into the playoffs to begin with, and young guys like Asher Vance really stepped up this year in the playoffs, 14 points through those 11 games and 8 goals. So very excited to see what Vance could do in his second full season, which is not too far away. And yeah, this kid is probably, I feel like he could easily be point per game of a player this upcoming season. And then if we make the playoffs again, I feel like he could be another good goal scorer again, because he was shooting 17% in those 2 rounds that we played. In the regular season, he was shooting 10.5%. So maybe he's a better playoff player than he's regular season, or he is just improving his numbers in general. Also, Quinton Byfield was really good, so the two of those guys pretty much were keeping this team on their back. Everybody else was at their point per game, but like Brad Lambert was actually pretty good as well. Everybody else, I'd say, it was kind of quiet by comparison. Like guys like Frank Nazar had like no goals whatsoever. Kurashev had no goals. There was like a lot of players that didn't really do too much. Even Kevin Fiala had 2 points. He was a -8 through 11 games. He was pretty terrible after a pretty solid regular season. So there definitely is a lot of change that is going to come to this team this offseason. But we are obviously going to keep a lot of the young core together, and we're going to hope that this team can maybe make it back to the playoffs again next season. If it's not the case, then at least we have some experience under our belt with the younger guys like Vance and whatnot. But anyways, before we get into the draft and resign stage, we do have one comment to go over, and that is from Rebecca Weiss Woods, which says, Bobkov or Leclerc for your first pick would be good. I would trade Fiala and get as many picks as possible. As for pending UFAs, some you could trade for a late pick. I would explore that to gain picks, as well as trading out any young kids that are not going to make it. They could usually get good picks as well. Multiple players in one trade can increase the return. As for free agency, I would look for an 84 to 85 goalie. So Bobkov or Leclerc, let's take a look at that first. Let's take a look at the two of those guys again. Hopefully we get one of the two of them, unless they go early. I don't remember. Oh yeah, Bobkov and Leclerc are both like top 6 type of guys. Bobkov's a left winger. He's got a little bit more size to him, 6'3". He's a good goal scorer. And then the other one was Leclerc, who we were looking at, that looks really good, but we don't know for sure, and he's a defenseman. I don't know if I want to go with the defenseman and take the risk. I feel like he's going to be a top 4 that doesn't really develop much more than that. I don't think he's going to be a low elite. I mean, we could try and get a late pick from the Fiala trade or something like that, and maybe we could get both of them. But I might lean towards bringing in Bobkov, to be honest, because we could use it. Like, he could be almost like a replacement for Fiala in a sense. Like, down the road, at least once he develops a little bit more, because obviously he's not going to be NHL ready out of the gate, but in a few years, maybe he'll be like that Fiala replacement for like a second line role or even first line role, and maybe he'll get to play alongside somebody like Asher Vance or whatnot. So anyways, let's get into this draft. Actually, wait a sec. What else did you say about the comments? It was the trading Fiala and stuff, so we should probably edit our trading block. Let's do that first before we get into the draft, so we could throw out some random offers. So all these UFAs that have like 1 year left, I don't think we're going to be able to move them. You said that we could probably manage to move some of them out for late picks, but I don't think that's going to be the case, because if they're a pending UFA, most likely a team's not going to want to trade for them. If they're a pending RFA, it would make sense, but I don't think that's going to be the case. We are going to remove just like Patain and O'Connor, because those guys were just the cap whales. We'll keep Athanasiu and Kubalik on there, and we are going to add Fiala to the block. I don't know if there's anybody else that I want to add to the block. Let's sort by age. Manson's a pending UFA, I think, right? Yeah, he's pending UFA. I'll just add him as well, because they don't really know. Okay, and that's good. And in basically our wants, we want draft picks mainly only. Let's remove these assets for now. Or we want, actually, I don't know if I want prospects in a trade. I might only just want picks in an exchange. So let's say current first, second, and thirds. And we do not want fourth plus, obviously. And we do want future firsts and not future fourth pluses. That way, hopefully, we get, like, we could maybe make some offers and get some picks for some of these guys, especially Fiala, since he actually should have a good amount of value. Okay, so that was that portion of the comment. Anything else that I missed out on? Oh yeah, as for free agency, look for an 84 to 85 goalie. We definitely will look for that at the end when we get to the free agent portion. We could definitely use a goaltender like that, but the only thing is I would like to rely on Comesso more because Comesso is that guy. But Gustafson's probably not going to be coming back to this team unless he wants not that much money. He was a really good goalie last season, so we could always bring him back if necessary. Okay, so let's get into this draft and see what we could snag up for our prospect pool, and we'll also try and make a trade with Kevin Fiala involved. I don't know who I want to trade him to, so let's just go to the trade finder and see what we could get thrown at us for somebody like Fiala. Let's just do with our trading block, nothing's found. How about open trading block? Aaron Kaviharu, that's a medium elite defensive prospect. We got Matt Duchene in 2 seconds, no thank you. And Adam Pelech. I don't like any of those offers, but if Calgary is interested, we could try and make a trade for their pick. Aaron Kaviharu is not a bad prospect, but I don't think I've seen him pan out ever really in franchise mode. 71 medium elite. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him really develop to being much in franchise mode. I could be wrong with that. Like, that's a good offer. Does Calgary have a first-round pick, though, this year? Actually, I should just go to that and look at that instead. Let's go to Calgary and see if they have a first-rounder. Because if they do, maybe we could trade for their first-rounder. Oh, 15th overall. Maybe we can, actually. So maybe they'd have that 15th overall pick on the block. Which, I mean, if we get the 15th overall pick, we could definitely take somebody ahead even of Bobkov, and then also Bobkov as well with their own pick. So let's go Kevin Fiala and Calgary. You want to get rid of your 15th overall pick or no? You do not. Huh. Who does want to get rid of their 15th or their pick in this first round? Because that will make it easier to try and swing like a deal. Florida at 11. That's a bit high. We'd probably have to give up a lot to do that. So I don't know if that's worth it. What else we got here? Toronto at 18. Okay. So let me try Florida first, see if we get, if they actually, if they want to, like, acquire Fiala. They do, okay. So Fiala has more value, but Florida would be over the salary cap by $5 million. So there's probably no way we're going to be able to do that unless we get back somebody that's making a terrible contract in this trade as well. Who's on a terrible contract for 1 year? Or that's, like, really pending UFA that I could just take on. Let's actually just go by salary. Bo Horvat's making 69, but he's also a lot of value. Svechnikov. Evgeny Svechnikov's making 3.2. Huh. That's a bit high for him. Like, if I take him, Florida would still be over the cap by like a couple $1 million. Oh man, I hate that it exits that screen. So Fuller goes to St. Louis. That's the first overall pick, just in case you guys wanted to take a look at that. Okay, so I don't think we're going to be able to make a move with some of these teams because of the cap situation, which is kind of dumb. We might be able to make a trade with Toronto, though, because Toronto's under the cap, it looks like still. Yeah, so actually, no, they'd be over by like a couple $1 million. Okay, so let's see if we could add somebody to this. Is that making a bad deal for 1 year? We got TJ Brody. He's pending UFA. He would help make this deal go through. But we should be able to get something else back in this deal as well. Do they have any like prospects on the block? They do. I'd rather probably take draft picks into this though. So let's add like, would you throw in your like second rounder or third rounder? Maybe we could do this. Fiala for a first, a second, and TJ Brody, who's just going to be dumped right to free agency right away. He's just basically a cap whale to get this contract done. See? That's accepted. Okay, not too bad. I think that's a good trade. You guys could be wrong. Could be a little bit mad at that trade. I don't know. I think that's a good trade, though. We shed off Fiala's contract, which obviously kind of sucks, but we bring in a first that's 18th overall this year. We get in a second rounder in this year's draft as well that we could use to trade away eventually as well if we want to. And we also get back Brody, who's gonna probably just be dumped to free agency right away, to be honest, just because of his age and all that. But that's in order just to get the deal to go through in terms of salary. So now we have the 18th overall pick, and we also have the 23rd pick. We might be able to use both those to move up if we wanted, but I don't know if it's worth it. Yeah, there's only one team that wants to move that pick ahead of time, and that's Florida. Huh. Let's see what's around 18, see if we're getting actually anything decent, or do we want to move up even more. So Zikov, we might be getting another good top 6-4 prospect. There's also, wow, this guy's actually 2 years out. We might be able to get a pretty good player at 18 in like Bales or something. Which means if I go with Bales, I might go with the defenseman instead with the other pick. Okay, so we might get to like 2 top 6 forwards in this draft at this rate. If we moved up to like number 11, Tanev is probably a top 6 to be honest. Cote, top 6 probably. Yeah, it's not really worth moving up more because this looks like just a lot of top 6s in this draft. So I think we won't move any more players for picks because this draft class is not the greatest. So let's take a look at what the rest of this top 5 is looking like. I don't think there's anybody else I should trade on this team. I'll take a look at that quickly. But let's see, Tucker Jackman 2nd overall, might not have any X factors. He might, but I just didn't have him scouted. Looking like a pretty good two-way forward there for the Buffalo Sabres. So there's that. Let me actually go see, find trades, see if those pending UFAs, if any of them actually have value to trade, or if they will actually take any trades for that. Let's go salary. So Manson, I don't think since he's pending UFA, there's going to be any trade offers. Is there? Probably not. Let's see. Oh, there is actually an offer, but it's Antti Ranta, who's also pending UFA. So I don't think we're honestly going to be able to trade a lot of these pending UFAs. But that's okay. Let's take a look at Athanasiou. Nope, none found. I'll take a look at Kubalik as well. Literally, I could get a top 6 AHL top 6 forward for Kubalik just because of the fact that he's pending UFA. That's funny. Wow, yeah. See, no teams are willing to give up any players that are good picks and stuff in order to get a pending UFA. It seems like. So, let me take a look at Caleb Jones, Antti Ranta as well, Cam Atkinson. You know I would do that, but he's probably gonna. Well, actually, he wouldn't retire because he would have already retired. But it would have been pretty funny just to bring in Cam Atkinson, but. Yeah, okay, I guess we're not going to be making any more trades, so let's take a look at the rest of this top 5 of this draft, and then we'll get the rest of this draft done, and then we'll get to like the resign stage and prime up free agency for next episode. So Montreal number 3 is going to take Griffin. It was a 79 playmaker. Doesn't look like he has a zone ability, but he might. Very good passer, as you'd expect for a playmaker, and he's also good at face-offs and has actually some good shooting apparently. Not too bad there for Montreal. Detroit at number 4 is going to take Outlaw. That's a pretty cool name. Stuart Outlaw. Interesting. He's also a playmaker. And he does have a zone ability. Interesting. And Columbus at number 5, before we sim to our 18th overall pick, takes Doyle, who's an 82. Wow. That's a really good steal there at number 5 for the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's also a playmaker, though. So literally 3 playmakers in a row. And 4 of the top 5 are all playmakers. So I'm kind of glad we didn't have a top 5 pick this year, because having like a playmaker that's a winger, actually there's 3 of them are centers. So I guess I guess it could have been something we could have needed, because I mean we do have a lot of centers though already on the team, but a playmaker to play next to a sniper like Vance would be good. But interesting. So that is your top 5. Let's simulate to our pick at 18 and see what we can snag up here. I honestly don't know what we're going to go with at this stage. I think we're going to go with Bales just based on his 2-year ETA and the fact that this guy looks like he has some really good goal scoring and stuff like that. He's also a pretty big guy, 6'5", 198. There's also Zikov, who looks solid as well, but 3 years out. And then there's Daryl Hamilton, who's also guaranteed to be 2 years out. Interesting, and he is a center. I don't really need centers that much, I don't think, at the moment, just because we have like Byfield, we have Vance, we have a lot of centers, I'm pretty sure. So I think going with a winger makes more sense, even though Hamilton might be the better of the two. He lacks size, while Bales does not have a single weakness. So let's bring in Brennan Bales, because the double alliteration is kind of cool as well. So Brennan Bales, welcome aboard to Chicago. He is a 70 medium top 6 two-way forward. He does have some X factors, which is interesting. He has stick him up, so good defensive stick. He also has great shot blocking and elite rush defending. So he's a good two-way forward, which is interesting. We'll see how he develops. How's his numbers in Swift Current, even though these are just random numbers. Interesting. Yeah, this guy's pretty well built. It might be something decent for us. We'll see. What is his face-offs for a winger? 73. So he could even take some face-offs from time to time. That's just not that bad. So I think that's a pretty solid pick there. That's basically what we got in return to get rid of Kevin Fialo. So I will take that, I'd say. Let's see what our next few picks are like after us. So Carl's a 65. Dallas takes Hamilton. So Hamilton was a little bit worse, but he does also have some zone abilities. He is a playmaker. And he does have some good shooting and shock and awe. So he has good toe drags and stuff. Interesting. He goes to Dallas. Let's sim to our next pick at 23. And looks like we're probably going to end up going with Bobkov here, since he's a winger as well. Or we could go with Leclerc, since we didn't draft a defenseman yet. We could just take a risk with Leclerc now, since we took already a winger. I mean, Bobkov looks actually pretty good as well. And we could definitely use more wingers as well. But Leclerc might be decent. We do actually have a second rounder now. But how early is that second rounder we got from Toronto? We have multiple seconds. Oh, it's 18th as well, not a surprise. Let's go with Bobkov. I don't think we really need a defensive prospect at the moment. We have a lot of them, I think. So yeah, let's go with Bobkov and see how good he is. And he is a 65 medium top 6, not too bad. Sniper as well, and he does have a zone ability, which is off the rush. And he also has shock and awe, make it snappy, not bad. And that shooting category is pretty solid out of the gate. Obviously, he needs some work, and his offensive awareness needs some work as well. But he's probably going to be a decent player at some stage. So there you go on Victor Bobkov. That's him to our second round pick. Actually, let's take a look at what that defenseman was, though, first. Just because I am curious on him, if I should have traded for him or drafted him instead. I want to see what he is. Let's see. Leclerc was a 62, medium top 6 only. Oof. Well, I'm glad I didn't take him. I was thinking he was going to be like maybe like a low elite or something like that, or a top 4 defenseman, but this guy was only a top 6 defenseman. So we made the right choice and didn't take him. Glad I didn't. The rest of his draft is not looking too great. Actually, 90 looks okay. We might honestly take 90 because we don't have a lot of right wingers, I'm pretty sure, too. I did pin this Coyle dude, though. 3 years out. Might be in low elite, I said. Yeah, he might be low elite still. But he might be honestly like a top 9 or a low top 6, so that's a little bit of a risk. There's also a gem, Crawford, 4 years maybe out. I have seen some low top 6s pan out, but I don't think they pan out that great. So I think I'm gonna go with 90 here, because why not? We need more wingers anyways. So Zachariah, welcome aboard. He is 64 medium top 9, so that's also part of the Fiala trade basically. Both two-way forwards we got in our picks from those, but whatever. Not bad. And we have a 5th rounder. I guess we didn't have a 2nd rounder before that, so we actually acquired a 2nd rounder in that Toronto trade. So the rest of this draft is probably going to be pretty crap, but there is a guaranteed top 9 that has a lot of weaknesses and no strengths. But maybe we go with him. Oh, there's a guaranteed low elite defenseman here. Forgot about this guy. No weakness and no strength, 5 years out. So he's not going to be that great out of the draft, but he's low elite. So obviously we're going to take a chance on a right defenseman who shoots left only. That's interesting. Let's take Solovyov. He is a 51 in the low elite. Yeah, he's definitely going to be a project player. He honestly might only grow to being like a top 6 defenseman at best or a depth defender, but that's still an okay pick for me. At least it's a low elite. There's another guaranteed low elite defenseman at this stage that's listed as a gem, so we're going to take him, Artem Datsuk. Obviously going to take all these low elites when we get the chance. He's a right defenseman as well, so that's pretty nice. 59 overall low elite two-way defenseman. Let's take a look at those stats. Not too bad. More defensively minded, it looks like, but he does have good power in his shot and solid passing. So if he develops, maybe he'll be something decent for this team. And our last pick of this draft. Do we have any steals here? Not really. Unless these guys are low elites, but there's no guaranteed on that. What about Ferrelli? Billy Ferrelli, no weakness, 5 years out. I don't know. He's supposed to not go undrafted, so I don't think I want to take a risk on that. Yeah, this draft class is dropped off a lot here in the 7th round. Let's just go with somebody with the coolest name. Who has a cool name? If there's anybody. Alexander Antropov is kind of neat. Yeah, actually, maybe we would go with one of these guys. I don't know. It's a risk, whoever we go with. So let's go with Skrbik, because that's kind of a neat name. Andrei Skrbik. Don't think this guy's going to make it, but we'll take him anyways here. Boom. 7th defenseman. Yeah, not that good of a pick, but oh well. That is a pick for the 7th round, and that is our draft. Not too bad, I'd say, getting rid of Kevin Fiala, bringing in a couple extra picks. So we get Bales and Bobkov, 90, which is, I'd say Bales and Bobkov are going to make the NHL at some rate for sure. And then 90, probably not. Solovyov and Datsuk, hopefully, because they're both low elites, and then Skrbik definitely won't. But not a bad draft nonetheless. And at least we got rid of Kevin Fiala's contract, which means we're going to need to sign some people to some big contracts this offseason to get us up to the cap floor probably again. Well, let's re-sign our OHL scout unless he has a bad rating, which I don't think he did. Because most of these scouts should be pretty good. Oh, he's a B-, but we'll still bring him back. That's not bad. We'll fire him next offseason if he's dropped down or anything. Okay, so resign stage-wise, what do we got here? We got 54 million in cap space, so let's not qualify some of these guys and sign some of these guys up long-term if we can. I know Brad Lambert sometimes really grows really well, so I think I'm already going to give him an 8-year deal because he doesn't want that much money. You guys might be like, why are you doing this already? It's because I do these 8-year deals now as fast as I can, because might as well give these guys big contracts while they're still RFAs, you know. So let's see if I could get him for less than 2.95. Actually, maybe I'll just give him 2.95. I don't need to do the 85% trick because I need to get to the cap minimum anyways. Let me try and do... Actually, no, we'll try 2.95 for 8 years. That's a really good contract if Brad Lambert starts to pan out. What about Olsen? 2 years at $1 million as a one-way contract. I'm okay with that. We'll do that. Because he's not going to really develop much more, but he's still a solid depth forward. Edvinsson, obviously, we're going to re-sign him because he will probably play in the NHL next season. And the rest of these AHL guys, I'm just going to probably qualify. I might have to let go of some of them, to be honest, though. Unless a lot of them are UFAs. Is there a lot of UFAs from the AHL team? Not really. Not really at all. Okay, so I probably will let go of some of these RFAs then, like Colton Dock, for example. Stjernborg's not really going to pan out. I'm going to let him walk as well, and also Lupien. They're not going to be qualified at all. Arvid Soderblom, do I qualify him? Or do I let him walk? We do have Patterson who needs a contract, so I think... Yeah, I think I'm going to let go of Arvid Soderblom just because of the fact that he's taking away time from younger guys right now, so let's let him walk. And all those guys are sent contracts too. I feel like, to be honest, most of these pending UFAs are gone, unless I want to bring back Caleb Jones. Boris Kachuk, didn't he play in the NHL team this season, or was he a depth guy? He was a depth guy. He might not want to come back, but he might be an okay fourth liner to bring back, to be honest. because we are going to need some cap whales again in this offseason, I think. Let's sign Little to his ELC, because he looks decent. Janssen as well. And then Kagorodov, since he's a low elite. And we're going to let go of Kadri. Any unsigned guys I need to sign? We could sign Bales already, but I'm not going to rush him. He's in the WHL anyway, so he's not going to be AHL eligible. And then Bobkov, I'm not going to sign yet either, I don't think. Yeah, I'm going to wait on those guys for 1 year, at least. Unless you guys think I should be signing them already. So let's let go of a couple of these guys for sure. So yeah, I think I'm going to let go of most of these guys. We could honestly bring them back in free agency, but we're going to let them walk for now, like Kubalik, Manson, Athanasiou. I wouldn't mind bringing back Kachuk. He wants a 2-way deal, but I'm going to give him a 1-way deal just because of the salary cap situation, because he might be a 4th liner next season. Ian Mitchell was playing in the AHL last year, right? Yeah, I don't know if Ian Mitchell really has a home anymore on his team. The contract's not bad for a top 6 defenseman, but Edvinsson needs to play is the thing, because what do we got for our defensive core that's still signed? Gerard's still signed, Korchinski, Brunstrom. I mean, if we let go of Caleb Jones, we could. Regula's still signed. Brody's gone. Edvinsson would be in. So we'd have Edvinsson, Regula, so there's 2. And then we'd have 3, 4, 5. So we could technically use a 6th defenseman. So, yeah, I think I might honestly, I might let go of Caleb Jones and bring in Mitchell, because we don't have a lot of right-handed defensemen. So I might keep Mitchell, to be honest, and he might play on our defensive core next season. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do for now, but I'm not going to give him a 3-year deal. We're going to give him a 1-year deal just for now. I am going to let go of Caleb Jones. And I'm going to let go of pretty much everybody else that is like pending UFA at this rate. We're going to clean the house a little bit and kind of rework this a little bit going into next season, because most of these guys were just signed to kind of wean in the younger guys in a sense. So that's good. Strimbo, I will give you a contract as well, because why not? In terms of UFA goaltenders, do I need to bring back Gustafson? I don't think so, because Rebecca was saying to bring in a free agent goalie. We'll have Ratzlaff, Mickelson, and Patterson in the AHL. And then we have a couple unsigned guys. So, yeah, I think we're going to let go of Gus. Even though he probably doesn't want too much. Yeah, he doesn't want too much, even though after a really good season. Like, his numbers usually simulate pretty well. Like, he's a good goaltender, but his playoff numbers, So, yeah, I think I'm going to let go of Philip Gustafson. We could always bring him back if necessary. But we're going to let him walk for now, because we are going to try and find some new players next offseason, or this offseason in free agency. Anybody reject your contracts? Doesn't look like it. Those guys are all still qualified, which is good. Yeah, I think we got everybody back that we needed to, which is good. We got Brad Lambert on an 8-year deal, which is hilarious. So we technically have Lambert, Pedersen locked up to big contracts, Byfield locked up. Obviously, Vance is going to get locked up in a few years. And Azar's contract comes to an end next offseason, so that's good. Interesting. Yeah, we have a lot of guys signed up long term. We have $51 million in cap space, so I got a lot of money to work with this offseason. And we need a backup goaltender for sure. What else do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I do want to be playing Edvinsson, so I don't know if we bring in a defenseman or not. We have 2 right-handed defensemen, actually kind of 3 with Korchinski. I think he's left-handed though, and he plays right side. Yeah. And we have a couple left-handed defenders or left defensemen. What do we got for forwards? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 basically. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We honestly have a full roster, and we still have $51 million in cap space. I don't know why I have problems hitting the cap floor with this team, but I do. Once we sign Vance, obviously it's not going to be that tough, because he's going to be getting a big contract when that comes. But let's take a look at what's available in free agency. We could make some trades to free up some contract room, and also get rid of players that aren't going to make it really that much. And then we could bring in Like, we could honestly trade away somebody like Lucas Reichel, for example, to bring in a veteran. Or we could sign in a veteran and just trade away Lucas Reichel for picks, that type of thing. I don't know about trading away Lucas Reichel, but we could definitely trade away somebody. So in terms of notable free agents, the best is Elias Lindholm. John Tavares is there, but 35 years old. If we want to bring in some veterans to try and help our young team to up another playoff run, there's definitely options. Kupari, he's only 26. Interesting that he's headed to free agency. He's not really a point producer, though. Yeah, he's kind of like a defensive third-line option. That's not bad. But I don't really know if we need centers. I think we need more wingers than anything. Madden, that's Tyler Madden, yeah. John Madden's son, he looks just like John, which is crazy. Interesting. Jack McBain is there, Jack Drury. Huh. Interesting. Any low leads that are undrafted that we could get up, maybe? Nope, doesn't look like it in terms of centers. What else we got here? Guryanov, the best left winger. Same with Schwartz, Fabry, Yarncroke. Brad Marchand, still a free agent. Interesting. Kubel League. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to really sign this offseason. I think we have so much money to spend that we should probably bring in some decent players. But we're literally signing all these guys to 8-year deals, and then like we're not going to have to rely on cap space that much. Afanasyev must be an RFA. Yeah, he is. There's Will Cooley. He's probably an RFA as well, but we need somebody that's wanting a lot of money. Or we could just sign a bunch of cap whales and let them play in the AHL. Connor Brown, Alex Tuck. Patrick Kane's back in free agency, but I'm not bringing him back to this team. We already turned our page. Kachevic, is he a RFA? No, he's a UFA. How is he? 21 points, not bad. Kind of similar to whatever his name is that we got re-signed. I don't remember his name now. It's escaping my head. There you go. Any low leads still? Nope, no low leads. Just hoping there'd be random low leads in there, but not the case. Defensively, if we want to bring in a defenseman, because we're still not really, I'm not really sold on Edvinsson because he's a 78. He's not really made any jump yet. So we could always flip Edvinsson away if you guys think that's a good thing, and bring in an NHL ready defenseman and bring pay them a lot of money to play on our top 4, because that's not a bad option. Probably somebody that's right-handed. So somebody like Trouba, actually maybe Anderson would be better. I don't know. But there's Anderson, there's Trouba, there's John Carlson, a lot of veteran type of guys. We did let go of Manson though. But if you guys see anybody to bring in, let me know. Artem Zub is there. What else we got? Some younger defensemen like Poirier and Robertson, but they're both RFAs. We can check the trading block as well after this, just in case. And goalie-wise, we needed to bring in a goalie for sure. The best, I would say, probably around this range is Lucas Dostal, but I feel like Kamesa wouldn't like that we sign a guy to the exact same type of overall. Like, we probably want to go with somebody that's a little bit lower, like Vimelka or Stuart Skinner as a backup. Interesting. Because I don't think we want to go for another starting goaltender. Because they're all, we don't want to make Kamesa mad, you know. Olivier Rodrigue. Interesting. Okay, so there is that. Let's take a quick look at the trading block, because this episode is already running a little bit long, just to see if there's anything we could trade for instead of sign, because maybe we could find our needs in the trading block instead. Claude Giroux still playing at 38. Interesting. Silverberg, Riley Smith. So some veterans there. Hampus Lindholm, Matt Grzelcyk. Some pretty solid defenders there in Boston, but probably all left-handed shots, because almost everybody is a left-handed shot. It seems like Calvin DeHaan is a left-handed shot as well. What else we got here? Anything else? Devon Taves is on the block. That's an interesting one. Wow, I'm surprised that they put Devon Taves on the block. He's still making a lot of money. But, yeah, he's pretty good. Brock Nelson on the block. Don't need really forwards that much, but still. Gavrikov, left-handed defenseman. Bean, probably left-handed. Yep. And let me guess, Zach Werenski, left-handed, yep. There's a lot of good defensemen on the block, which is nice to see, but they're mostly all left-handed, which we probably would prefer a right-handed one, but I mean, we could always bring in another left-handed one. Montour's a right-handed defenseman, and he's on the trading block. Still signed for a couple of years, though. I don't like that. Doughty with 1 year left. He is the right-handed defenseman. Do we bring in Drew Doughty to the Chicago Blackhawks? I don't know about that. It's a bit of a weird one. He is making a lot of money as well, so that would help us get to that cap floor a lot faster. Because he's still getting paid $11 million, so maybe we bring in Drew Doughty, but he would probably drop off a lot over the course of the season. Sam Steele, Joel Eriksson Ek, Travis Konechny, and Lindblom. Damn, a lot of good players there in Minnesota. Nick Suzuki's on the block at 26 years of age, but I don't really need a centerman because I do already have a lot of the centers locked up. Matt Duchene, probably not. There's a lot of good players on the block this offseason. Adam Pelech, is he right-handed? No, he's left-handed, but he is a good defensive defenseman, and he's signed to a pretty good contract. TJ Oshie, Kreider, Strome, Trocheck, Radish, and Joseph. Yeah, there's a lot of good players in this trade block this offseason. Barabanov, I don't know why he's an 86, but apparently he is. He actually had a pretty good season last year, so that's probably why. He's putting up like 50-point seasons. But he is 32. Interesting. What else? We got Allenfelt, Stevenson, Burakovsky. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of trade options out there if we want to make some trades. Oliver Shillington, he's left-handed, I'm pretty sure, yeah, left-handed. Morgan Riley, or not Morgan Riley, Mike Riley. Why do I keep on thinking Morgan Riley? Will Butcher, left-handed. OEL, left-handed, and let me guess, well, you're not a defenseman, Devin Shore, but still. William Karlsson, interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of good options out there if we want to make trades, but the question is, who would we be trading away? Like, if we look at a roster on paper, who are these guys that we don't think are going to pan out? So, obviously, Byfield, Vance, Nazar, Pedersen, Lambert, those type of guys are important pieces, I'd say, for this team's build around. Those are actually all just centers, though. Connor Zary also is pretty decent. Khrushchev is somebody we could definitely flip away if we want to. There's also Lucas Reichel, who I think I signed up for a couple years. Look at how long a lot of these contracts are and how cheap they are. I feel like we fleeced the AI so much in this franchise mode. Olesen, maybe somebody we could flip away that's young to upgrade our team a little bit. And Whistle, probably, and Hayes. I don't really know if those guys are going to pan out, to be honest. So we could always upgrade from them. And then defensively, we got a lot of defenders that are ending their contract next offseason. Like, they're all pending RFA/UFAs. So we could always trade away, like, we could upgrade Ian Mitchell, even though we just re-signed him, if we really want to. And we could always, actually, Sam Girard is probably going to just stay with the team till the end of his contract, at least. Goalie-wise, we have both one goalie at least locked up, so it's kind of funny how much players on this team we have locked up for multiple years. Like, we have all these guys under contract next season on our forward and defensive core. And in goalie-wise, we have Kemess already locked up, so there is that. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to free agency, where we might sign some players, or we might make some trades instead. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.